We're just about to get started. We will look just here at the moment at where the markets are and then take a look at some of the outside markets. I'm Pat McClatchy. Good morning and welcome to our E3 Live Export Sales and Market Report. We're a day later because, as many of you know, when we have a holiday, it pushes us back from Thursday to Friday. Right now, we're unchanged in cotton. Soybeans are down about 3. We've got corn down 1.5 and wheat's up about 3 as we get closer to the report. Looking at the outside markets, the dollar's up about 35. That normally is not a positive for commodities, but doesn't seem to be having much of an effect. Crude oil is up 50 cents a barrel. We have gold up $5 an ounce. Silver's up about 6 cents an ounce. The stock market looks like it will be opening lower when it does open. So that just sort of sets the tone for today. We will be getting these exports in just a moment. Just to review last week, exports were, as we look at last week's number, the exports were about as expected for wheat. Soybean numbers were good, corn numbers were good, and the cotton number was low, primarily because the market had rallied and we weren't seeing as much mill buying as we had seen under 60 cents. So we don't expect a really large cotton number today, but 50,000 bales last week was not a surprise either. So we will be we'll be looking for that here in just a moment. We'll also cover, after we go over our exports and the breakdown, we'll cover yesterday's USDA Crop Outlook Conference, the annual conference that gives estimates on acreage. Was interesting. And we'll get to that and go over the corn and the soybeans and the wheat and what they had to say about that. We'll be scrolling here in just a moment. We'll start seeing our updates. All right, we've got first coming out, cotton was actually a negative number, so we saw cancellations. A negative 69,700. I'd have to say that is a surprise. The market right now is down 25, so the immediate response was a negative one. We'll see how it reacts here in the coming minutes. Looking at other markets, soybeans 505,600. The soybean market right now is not really moving much. Appears to be down about 3 to 3.5. The corn number, 932,000 metric tons. That's a pretty good number. Corn market is right now down about 1.25 pennies, so we haven't moved much there either. The wheat number was a little light at 266,000. Last week's number was over 400,000. So we're expecting that number to be a little bit lighter than people had thought. And wheat's still up on the day. Looking again at cotton. Cotton down 35 to 40 at the moment in the May cotton. Export sales just coming out. Let's look at the breakdowns. We are the cancellations of 69,700, of course, is a marketing year low in cotton. Indonesia took 16,600. South Korea took 7,000. Vietnam took 5,900. Turkey canceled 81,700 bales. China canceled 19,700 bales. Mexico canceled 13,300 bales. The largest cancellation was for Turkey at 81,700. And at the moment, cotton's down 53. In the old crop, that's in the May, that's at 64.17. Looking now at wheat, the wheat number at 266,000. That is down 32% from the previous week and down 41% from the 4-week average. Sri Lanka took 64,000 metric tons. Thailand took 62,600 metric tons. Indonesia took 62,200 200 metric tons, and the wheat market's up 2 cents right now. Going to corn, 932,200 metric tons. That's down 7% from the previous week and down 25% from the 4-week average. As we look at the breakdown, Taiwan took 257,100 metric tons. South Korea took 186,300 metric tons, and Japan took 164,100 metric tons. And looking at the corn, we're down 1 1/4 penny. We really haven't moved off of this number. The soybean number, 505,600 metric tons. The breakdown shows that's down 32% from the previous week, but up 1% for the 4-week average. China took 205,100 metric tons. The Netherlands took 139,200 metric tons. Indonesia took 130,700 metric tons. Soybeans, before we started here with this report, were down 2.5 to 3, and right now the soybeans are down 2.5. So not a lot of reaction there. So that's really the breakdown on these markets, and we're looking right now at negative reaction for cotton. Market looks to be trying to stabilize at the moment, down about 50 on the day, with December cotton down around 46 on the day. We had mentioned, and we'll get into some comments about the market. We had mentioned the USDA's Cotton Outlook report came out yesterday. I mean, I'm sorry, not cotton, but the price outlook report for all markets. And what came out yesterday was corn and soybeans and wheat. And those numbers were considered positive for the market because it showed a cutback in all categories from the previous year in these different crops. And looking at it, it shows corn, the new planting estimate at 89 million acres. That's down 1.6 million acres from 2014. The soybean number, new planting estimate at 84 million acres. That's down 700,000 acres from 2014. And the wheat number, USDA put the acreage at 55.5 million. That's down 1.3 million from 2014. And the market did react in a positive way yesterday. All the markets rallied. Wheat sold off at the end of the day. And looking at the last week, starting off with the wheat market's pretty much unchanged from where it was last week. It has moved up and down, but it's where we started a week ago. Looking at some of the weather that's affected the market, cold weather has been a positive for the market. We've seen firming spreads in the wheat market. That's also been considered a positive. I think more than anything else, sort of a spillover from corn and from beans have helped support the wheat market at these levels. And looking at the outside markets, the dollar continues to push up. We're up 34 on the day in the dollar, and that's not a positive for any of these markets. Seasonals. What are the seasonals in wheat? The typical seasonal in wheat is that we point up from here in for the July wheat into somewhere in the middle of May. At that point, it starts to sell off into June. So even though it's down here at these low levels, the typical seasonal is for the wheat to move up. Looking at the corn market, good ethanol production has been a positive. Soybean movement recently has been a positive. Less acres anticipated in corn also is a positive. One negative is we've been unable to break technical resistance to the upside. Some of the moving averages above us have provided very significant resistance to the market. So we'll continue to watch that, but the market looks like it could trend higher. And as we look at the market, the soybean market is starting to firm up some from those lower levels. We're down about 1.5 pennies now. Looking at the corn market over the last week, we're actually up probably about 5 or 6 cents from where we were a week ago. The good ethanol production has been a positive. Soybean prices have been a positive, as we mentioned. Let's look at the upside projections for corn. Old crop, some of the talk is old crop corn getting up toward 410 to 420. Right now, old crop corn's at 396. December corn up toward 440 is a possibility going toward the spring, and December corn is at 418.5. Projections for the wheat, May wheat may be getting up as high as 550. May wheat right now is at 521.5. July wheat moving into the possibility in the spring of 550 to 560. Let's go to soybeans. The soybean news, or at least over the last week, we've had a good rally in beans. We've rallied 45 cents from the low of a week ago through yesterday. We attribute that to good demand. Some of the negatives that are there in the market, South American harvest is moving along with good weather, and also the possibility, at least in new crop soybeans, of large plantings coming up in the spring. And outside markets, again, affect all these markets. We're very high in the dollar, but we're starting to see some stability in some of the other outside financial markets. Seasonal tendency for soybeans is to move up into late April or to the first part of May. That's the typical seasonal. It's going to be difficult for November soybeans to move a lot looking forward because of the anticipation of very large acreage for soybeans. There is a smaller seasonal that indicates over the next 2 weeks we could see a very choppy market. Then once we get past that, hopefully we can start to trend higher. Old crop targets to the upside, 1050. Right now, old crop soybeans are at 1008. New crop target, some analysts are talking about, would be anywhere from $10 to 1020, and new crop soybeans are at 984. They got, I think, to 994 yesterday and slid right back off. So we do run into resistance as we move up and get even close to $10. Looking at the cotton market as we'll go next. The cotton market, looking over the last week, it's not really considering today. Cotton right now is down 46 in the old crop, but we've seen very good, high quality machine pick demand for cotton. That's cotton in the U.S. That's been a positive. We've seen good spec buying. Those are the commodity funds. They've been building a long position in that market here in over the last week or two. We've seen a strong technical performance in the market as the market moves up through different price levels, moving averages, resistance levels. It still continues to be able to move higher and to hold. Let's talk about the new crop. The new crop, and we've spoken about this before, is needing to move higher to attract acres, because at these prices, or the prices we've seen recently, it will be very difficult to get the kind of acres that I think the market would like to get for U.S. cotton. Negative there would be we've gotten overbought because we've moved 400 points. We've moved 400 points over the last week. We started this rally at 57, and then the market has gotten, as we look at the May cotton, from 57 we've moved up yesterday and got as high as 65.75. Right now we're at 60. We're trading at 64.25. So targets for the market. Well, let's talk about seasonals. The seasonals for cotton, a lot like soybeans, we point up into the spring. Actually, the latest seasonals point up to a high being made anywhere from mid-March to mid-April. That's looking at the more research seasonal charts that indicate that has been the trend. So targets to the upside, old crop cotton, looking for the possibility of it getting up, let's just say 66, 67 level, maybe even as high as 70. The negative number today doesn't help that, but that's been some of the upside technical counts in the market. New crop cotton that's trading right now at 64.45. Some of the targets there people have talked about have been 70 to 72, even some talk about 74 in the market. Lastly, we talked about it last week. There's a lot of cotton in the world, but there's not a lot of machine-picked, higher quality cotton in the world, and that's the reason we've seen such good buying, especially from the mills at 60 cents and less. So we feel like there's good demand from the mills on any sell-offs that we might see. To attract enough acres to get the cotton planted, to be able to have adequate high-quality machine-picked acreage at harvest time, we're probably going to have to move higher. But right now, at the moment, we're struggling with these numbers that have come out, and so that's really it for today. We'll look to be back on next Thursday at our usual time, and we appreciate you joining us for the E3 Live Export Sales and Market Review. Have a good day. Thank you.